Well, Winspace are now reinventing their Hyper-LUN line, and they're saying they're making it better than it was before, which was a very, very good wheel, performed very, very well, and it was, for what you paid for to what you got from a wheel, was very, very cost effective for a cyclist if we're comparing them to the normal name brands that we have in the market. So they were a very, very good wheel, and they came with great accolades. Even people that tested them said these wheels are really, really good. Well, what they've done is they've upped the ante. They've made the wheels even better. So let's roll the intro and let's have a look at these brand new Hyperspace LUN wheels. Well, Winspace have really upped their marketing. The marketing looks really slick on their website, and their headlining is the reinventing the wheel. So basically what they're saying now is we've got a wheel that was very good, and now instead of just tweaking it, what we've done, we've gone back to the drawing board and we've rebuilt the wheel and we've made it even better, and they've made some significant changes. Now, the first thing that they talk about is the weave on that wheel. And they're saying that the weave has been done in a way that puts extra strength where the spoke holes are. Now, that's true. That's the part where you're transferring your energy and it's at a point. But I don't know if typically in the industry, wheels are having a big problem with pulling out from the rims where they interface with the spoke. So I don't know if that's a significant problem. Maybe people can put that down below if they've had problems where that's pulled out from the rim and we've had significant failures related to one brand or one design. But I don't know if that was a big problem in the past or with the older Hyper wheels. So you could probably argue, is that really a upgrade? But they're saying that in redesigning the rim, they've actually taken some weight out of the rim, and I must admit the rim brake ones look fairly light. They seem pretty good because they're not a tubular rim, they're a hooked rim, and the weights look very competitive with what else is on the market. So they're calling this new way that they've laid up the carbon fiber. I don't know what it's like underneath if this goes all the way through, but they're calling it the butterfly effect. Sometimes they do that just on the last sheets of carbon to give it a look, like quite often on finishes to do with car stuff or even bike stuff. What they do is they use the woven type, but underneath they're not using that more expensive fiber. It's just to give it a clear coat, and then you can see the carbon fiber. It looks really sexy. So that's one thing that they've done. As I said, there's not a lot of in-depth technical information on them so far. They've just come out, they've just been dropped. So we don't really know what the construction is like. We just got to take it on the face value, as we do with all of the big brands, that they've actually done this and that improvement does exist. Now, they're saying that their spokes have got superior material. I don't know what they've done there. They're saying that the carbon spokes on our Hyper wheels for years, which they have, we know that, and some people have criticized that they're a little bit too harsh. I don't know if I think that's a really big argument. If you're riding bad roads all the time, that's probably a relevant point. But if you're riding fairly good roads, I don't think that's the thing, because most people want to get power transfer. And unfortunately, you can't have a stiff wheel and get power transfer and then have like a soft wheel that is flexing a lot to give you compliance. It does give you some contact, especially in corners, because when you lean over, the wheel's trying to push up at the bottom. So if you have a bit more flex in the spokes, then what it's doing is it's keeping that wheel, it's flexing and keeping that wheel in contact with the ground rather than it bouncing off. So it is a true factor that you do want to have some flex in the spokes to act like a suspension system that you have on a car. But generally, as far as putting power down, you don't want that flex, because what's happening is, and I had a pair of zip wheels and they were very flexy, is when you get out of the seat and try to put the power down, it starts hitting the brakes. The wheels flex considerably, and you're losing power transfer, direct power transfer to the ground. So that could be a real factor with these wheels. And we do know how hyper wheels do feel stiff. Now, the other thing that they've done is they've completely rebuilt the hub. Now, they're saying that they're using ceramic bearings. I don't know if ceramic bearings really make a big difference. I don't know if they're a half ceramic, half steel, half ceramic, or what, or they're using big bearings, I don't know. But the whole hub they've redesigned, and they've got a higher flange, which is actually a good design, because when you get the higher flange, you get more of an angle. They lay the spokes over more especially on the drive side, because they're very, very straight. They get a little bit more angle, which makes the wheel, gives it a bit more stiffness, because you're actually angling the wheel instead of having almost straight, and you're trying to apply force. You've got to put more force into the spoke to counteract the ones that angle more on the other side. So that is a known design criteria in making bicycle wheels. So that's a real thing that they've improved on. They also talk about they've actually used Hambini's chart here, which is kind of cool for comparison of the wheels. But we'll probably have to just let it play out exactly how these wheels are going to really perform when they get tested. They're saying that they're capturing the lightweight, and they're capturing the aero, especially in the 50mm wheel, and they're getting the best of both worlds. You don't always get the best of both worlds. I would imagine they'd be a fairly stiff wheel, so they probably wouldn't be that great for poor road surfaces. They would be much better for good road surfaces. If you ride on those sorts of roads, these wheels would be ideal. But Winspace are very, very good value. You get a very high-end wheel for a mid-price wheel set, and they're very, very good value. And I think that I don't think anyone's going to say that you can't recommend Winspace LUN wheels. They're really good product for the price. So anyway, guys, leave your comments down below. What do you think of these new hyper wheels? I must admit, I do like that butterfly effect. Whether it's actually a technical improvement or not, who cares? It looks sexy, and that's what matters in this bike industry world, where we're putting holes in frames. It's all about looking cool rather than, if the bike's going to go faster. So I think Winspace has really fit that mold there. This wheel will stand out if you have it on your bike. You can see that beautiful layup of the carbon that they've used in the wheels. It just stands out. It looks really, really nice. And there seems to be a tint of color through them, from like a slight brown to whatever. I don't know if that's the angle of light being reflected out of the resin from the carbon fiber, but it adds like a little bit of a aesthetic feature to the wheel. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me know what you think of these new wheels, and I will see you in the next vid.